Major Jason Connelly of the 171st Air Refueling Squadron is going to talk to us a little bit about the KC-135 cockpit and some of the things that make this aircraft unique. Now, Major Connelly, one of the things we notice about this aircraft that's unique, is we have what some people refer to as steam gauges or analog gauges. What's the story on these?
That's a good point, pointing that out. It's older avionics, like you said, and one of the things that across the tanker community that we're doing right now is updating the avionics package. Avionics being engine instruments, flight instruments over here. So about half of the airplanes we have on base right now are the older steam gauges, like you see, and each of these corresponds to every engine. So we've got 4 engines, so that's number 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each across the board. The newer package gets rid of all the round dials and what you commonly refer to as the steam gauges. It replaces it with a big glass screen. You normally call it like a glass panel. It updates our autopilot and a lot of the FMS integrated management with navigation that we have in the airplane. Brings everything up to a more modern day standard with what you see out there with the commercial and corporate jets that are out and about flying around. It's going to be a really nice upgrade. We've got, like I said, a few of them right now. They're working really well.
Now, the KC-135 is one of the older aircraft in the Air Force inventory, but it's been an incredibly dependable tanker platform, and it's a platform that's used across many of the services. The Navy uses it in addition to the Air Force. How old is this aircraft?
This particular airplane was built, the airframe was built in 1960. You can see it's part of the tail number. It's on a placard up here, but the airframe was built in 1960. We have 1959 and 1961 built aircraft here at Selfridge with our squadron. The engines obviously are not that old. They've been through numerous upgrade programs, and even the avionics, the older avionics that we're talking about right now, have been upgraded since the aircraft was first put into service also.
How much longer do you think we're seeing some transitions in the Air Force tanker program right now? When we talk about new tanker programs like Pegasus and so forth, how much longer do you think the KC-135 is going to be a relevant aircraft? Because it still is very much a relevant aircraft.
It is, and the good point you brought up is that it's not just the Air Force uses it, the Navy uses it. We use it with a lot of our NATO partners too. It's a mainstay of global readiness. You can't do a military mission without air refueling capability. I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the issues that the Pegasus is coming up with, and I think the KC-135 will be around for quite a while, as a matter of fact, especially with the new avionics upgrade that they're doing, really looking to extend the life of this airplane. But it's a great airplane, it's a great solid platform, and dependable, and it's proven its course over time.
It sure has, there's no question about it. I can't count the number of conflicts that the KC-135 has supported, so it's a remarkable aircraft. And speaking of that, give us kind of one insight on one of the coolest refueling missions you've flown.
Oh man, that's a good question. There's so many different ones. I could tell you one that's local to the state of Michigan here with the A-10s. A few years ago, a friend of mine is flying the A-10s. They're deployed overseas, and we were deployed overseas at the time. And you get refueling scheduled. You step out to the airplane and you fly over Iraq or Afghanistan, wherever you happen to be. We happen to be over Iraq. We were effecting the rendezvous with our A-10 receivers, and I hear my friend's name on the radio. I hear my friend's voice on the radio, I'm sorry. And so we start chit-chatting over a UHF frequency, which commercial aviation doesn't use, so it's a little bit more secure. We started chit-chatting, and it was really cool to kind of meet up with him over in the middle of Iraq. We're both from Michigan, based at Selfridge here. I'm helping him do his mission, and he's helping the United States do their good work.
It's a small world, and that underscores the critical nature of all of the units here at Selfridge Air National Guard Base, which is truly a unique facility because it encompasses so many of the different services. Actually, all of the services are based here at Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Mount Clemens, Michigan. Thanks for having us out here today. It's a treat to come inside of the aircraft, take a look at it. But the biggest treat is to be able to meet you guys. So we appreciate everything you do.
Absolutely,
thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you guys out here. It's nice meeting you, and we always enjoy sharing the airplane with everybody. So we're hoping you have a good day.
All right, Tom Demerly for the Aviationist.com at Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Mount Clemens, Michigan.